So we have this lovely moss covered wall. Rob is whirling. Mike's standing on the wall with my hat. It's a good hat, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we just got started. We got a long way to go. So it was really chilly this morning, but we started pretty early in the morning, and now the sun is just like all in the woods. The woods are just gleaming with the sunlight, and everything's kind of damp, and it's beautiful. It just really motivates me when the time is on your side and you start and your hands are chilled by the morning, and then when the sun comes out, it's like, ah, it really fires you up. We have a long way to go. The trail's that way. I got a little waterfall here.
Huh? The sun's right around that corner.
How's that Cliff Bar taste?
So-so.
So-so? Well, then that means you haven't been hiking long enough. You know, if you're really hungry, a Cliff Bar will taste like heaven in edible form.
Alright, so we found a small plant here, and it's in the cress family. Pioneers use these to make salads and green mixtures and things like that. They grow along the riverbed. What you can see we have here, we have a creek that goes along here. This is actually where we found it. So Brad's going to try it now.
Alright, I'm going to eat the leaves here. Oh wow! That's really good.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. It's very full of flavor. I don't know what to compare it to, but it's like when you bite into it, it's like you get this little zing of flavor. And it's not bitter. It's not bitter. It's like, it tastes like, okay, that sounds strange, but it kind of tastes a little bit like garlic or something. It's like there's like a spiciness to it.
Huh.
Yeah, it really does. It's good. I'd eat more of it. Is it metal?
Yeah, it's metal. I think it's a piece of old farming equipment, maybe.
Huh.
Some sort of or a fence. I don't know, like...
It's almost like a plow or something,
yeah,
but...
it's probably part of like a frame, maybe a strut to a carriage or something.
Interesting. It was in the stream?
Yeah, it was
How heavy is it?
Not very. 5
Cool.
pounds maybe.
Interesting.
Some sort of fanning thing, something that would fan. Could be the top of a carriage. You know, it's like
could
you
be.
have like a leather thing going over the top of it here, and it could expand and roll up.
Huh. So often it's happened that as we come out of the trail, it'll just open up into like these big clearings, which is not something I'm used to in the Smokies. And now I'm hearing wildlife. Rob, what do you think?
It reminds me of a lot of books I used to read growing up. Like, there was this book, I think it's called something about lilies. I can't remember the title of it. I read it so many years ago, but it just reminds me of homesteads set in the early 1900s back up in the woods here, you know. You just kind of depended on each other, and there were these little access routes, like these trails that we're taking here that, you know, used to be old settlement roads, and it reminds me a lot of that, and reminds me of a lot of the things that I used to read as a kid growing up.
Oh, wow. Yep, that is a chimney. Rob thought he spotted it from far back. These walls just remind me of like seeing them everywhere, and this looks like an old road because there were walls lower down. It just makes me think that, you know, like deep in this park a long time ago, there's a whole other kind of civilization. It was a culture, you know, of people that lived here, and I mean the Native Americans and then the early settlers, and they're almost like old forts of sort of like a forgotten, you know, kingdom. But look at this chimney. Oh wow. So what we got here is yet another chimney, and this is what I read about, that this inverted V lintel pattern I was reading in the books is odd. It's atypical, and that it might have been, you know, just done artistically, or it might have been, you know, something that was common around here, but it is kind of like not what you would expect. Just that interesting artistic touch to it, and it's just right on the trail here. And to think that I'm standing, you know, by standing in front of this, I'm in what would have been the room of a cabin here a long time ago. Okay, so we found this awesome, like, I think it's a corn crib or some kind, but this is in phenomenal shape. I mean, we haven't seen anything like this. We've seen stone ruins, but we haven't seen anything standing that's wood like this. This is amazing. And Mike, of course, is pretty tall, so he's taller than that. But just, let me see if I can show you what's in here. Awesome. In fact, I think I'm going to crawl in, too. Wow. That is cool. This is very cool. Old man, we haven't found any wooden, runs like these little joists here. All right, Rob, what do we got here?
Well, I saw this guy squirming right after Brad stepped here, and I think he actually might have gotten stepped on.
Oh dear.
There's a snake here, and I'm going to point at him right here. You can see him. He has a golden ring around his neck, and that means he is a southern ring-neck snake. And they're not exceptionally rare, but they're relatively uncommon.
It's a long snake.
Yeah, he's a little one, actually. I've seen him up to about this long.
Oh, wow.
In wood piles and stuff. But yeah, he's a southern ring snake. You can see the golden ring around his neck. He has a golden underbelly as well.
Rob, would you like to do some Steve Irwin stuff here and pick it up by the tail and possibly get bitten by it?
I think we've already stepped on him and messed up his day enough.
Okay.
We don't irritate him anymore.
Yeah.
I guess it's the vegan in me. We'll just leave him be.
Well, at least I didn't kill him. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm more glad that I didn't get bit than I am that he's uninjured, relatively uninjured. But yeah, but still, who wants to get bit by a snake?
I don't even.
Alright, this is amazing. Look at this full chimney. This is the most intact chimney we've seen all day, and we've seen lots of chimneys today. I'll have to go back through my photos and try to count how many how many chimneys we've seen. But what's interesting is this also has that inverted V lintel, and this one is totally now disconnected. Like, I can connect here through my hands, and it's just kind of free hanging there. And I can see all the way up the chimney, and I can see the light at the top.
It's not capped anymore?
No, it's not capped.
Cool.
You can see blue sky straight up through it.
Wow.
And this is just
Oh, this is the adjacent chimney.
gorgeous.
Well, apparently I'm going to circle around here. Sorry for the unsteady camera as I step over logs and various and sundry things.
Wow.
Alright, so this was probably in the middle of a log cabin here, and it's got two adjacent chimneys. So, it probably has two separate rooms here, is also how that worked.
I barely see some light coming down from up there.
And
That
so,
does look a little tighter. We got all these stone walls, and all this is flat. I mean, this would be a great place for...
Now, is this the one that has the corner still intact, the wooden corner? Is that this place?
There should be.
Oh, somewhere around here, as I'm holding the camera shaky cam style, there should be an intact corner to this building.
Or it might be further down
And it might be a further cabin.
at the settlement.
But these could be pillars of a foundation here, corners of a foundation. This is obviously a two-room cabin, or a cabin with a very large room. So this would be a very nice place to live as far as cabins are concerned. This, to most people, I guess, would look like a blue jar, but anybody who is familiar with like country living would immediately recognize this as a ball mason jar, and that's what you would obviously get your moonshine in if you were to. That's probably how most people would know it now. But in the early, near the turn of the century, these were used almost exclusively for canning and bottling and pickling. So the fact that there's one still here, it makes me wonder how long ago this was. If this is from 1930 or the Depression era or something, when somebody still lived in these cabins, and what was in here was this like pickled eggs or pickled green beans or something that they've grown. It's very interesting.
Just found it sitting on the wall.
Sitting on this wall here.
And the wall goes off this way. And our chimney that we just explored is right over here. Amazing. And what's neat about this chimney is that it's really deep in from either way. So if you came at this trail either direction, you'd have to hump it pretty far to get here.